everyone, I'm Morgan and today I wanted to do my winter book haul. So in my previous book haul I mentioned how I was trying not to buy books and obviously it did not work. I still bought quite a lot of books. So I will tell you what books I got and where and why I got them. It's basically like the story behind all of these books. So first of all, in September I went on vacation with my boyfriend, with my ex, and we visited many different cities, and so I kept telling myself that it would be good to buy some books to remember those places. And yeah, basically I just tried to justify buying books once again, and it totally worked. So I'm still happy I bought these books and I have quite a lot of them. So first we went to Rennes, which is a beautiful city in the west of France, and there were lots of bookstores there. I really enjoyed it. Like, this seemed like a place I could live in, to be honest, and I just felt like also I should support, you know, the bookstores. Like, there were all many small bookstores, independent ones, and it was just so nice. So first I went to a bookstore that was really cool, and they didn't have a lot of books in English, but I still found Zone 1 by Colson Whitehead, and this edition in particular that I have been wanting for some time with the eye. So I know this is like a zombie story, and it doesn't have the best ratings, which is interesting. Whereas usually Colson Whitehead is an author that I think is pretty well liked, and I have enjoyed like 2 of his novels previously, so I think I want to read everything he has ever written. So I obviously wanted this one, and especially this edition, because I like it. So I'm happy I found it. Then I saw some books on the place Used Books, and I picked up 3 of this series. So Jeeves, this is I think the 3rd one or something in the series, and there are a lot in it. So it's like classic books that I think a lot of people know by P.J. Wodehouse, and they're kind of the only ones where I actually like the old editions. And so yeah, I'm quite happy I got these. They're really short ones, and I only have one to show you. The 2 others are at home, like in France. So that's also why I haven't done a book haul in a bit of time, because I didn't know how to do it, because I don't have all of my books here. Like, all the books I have already read I brought back to France, so I will just show you the books I do have here. But yeah, I've heard this is really funny, it's a classic, and I'm excited to get to it. Then I went to like a very small bookstore in Rennes again, and so I picked up the Chronicles of Narnia, so the Magician's Nephew, the first book in the Narnia series, whatever. I have never read these books actually. I know a lot of people read them as a kid, but I didn't actually like them back then, so I did not. But now I've been wanting to read them, partially because these are my ex's favorite books, and I wanted to read all of his favorite books, and now I don't really, but I'm still curious about Narnia in general. I've always heard about the symbolism about Christianity, and that makes me want to read them, and overall it's also like a fantasy classic, and I like reading classics in fantasy, so this seems like something that could be for me. Then I went to a French bookstore, which I don't usually go to because I'm always trying to read in English mostly, but this one seemed really nice, and they had a lot of books that seemed interesting, so I picked up 3 of them. The first one is La Nuit des Temps by René Barjavel, and this is like a classic sci-fi story that I have heard before, because it is one of my friend's favorite book. And she talked to me about it multiple times, and she told me it was really nice, and so I will trust her and read this at some point. Then on the recommended books in that bookstore, I saw Frères, Sorcières by Antoine Volodine. I have no idea what this is about, but I did read like the blurb on the back, and apparently it's supposed to be kind of dystopia, and it's a French book that came out last year. So I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm interested. And then I picked up Carne by Julia Richards. So again, a book in French that came out last year in May, I think, and it's supposed to be kind of this zombie book. But what made me really want to buy it is that on the back you can see it's done, and just the whole cover is done like you're buying a piece of meat, but it's human, so you can see like the ears and other stuff like this. It's very creepy. And if you go like so, here you see the price of the book, but it says like also the weight, so it's like you're buying a piece of meat again. And on the back it says how you can recycle it, and just yeah, everything like you're buying some kind of food. And that's just so weird, and I'm interesting to see if it has anything to do with the story, so it seems very cool. Then I went to Orange in the south of France, and I picked up this book in a bookstore, Aucun, Souvenir, Assez, Solide, so no memory, solid enough. And it's by Alain Damasio, and it's supposed to be a short story collection of sci-fi and fantasy. So I know nothing about it, but it had good reviews and sounded interesting, so I'll read that. Then I also went to Paris, actually before that, and I picked up multiple books there. I went to Jeeves, which is like kind of a chain in France, and it's pretty good. I quite like their bookstores all over France, and the one in Paris is the biggest one, so I really enjoyed it. I will insert some clips if I can think about them, because I took a few videos. And I bought actually 5 books there, and 3 of them are here. So I got Another Country by James Baldwin, because I've always wanted to read some books by James Baldwin. Also got Perfume by Patrick Süskind. I have heard so many great things about it. It's a thriller, and it's one of my best friend's favorite book, so I trust him. And I got Tuff by Beatty, because I really enjoyed, what's it called, don't remember. Oh yeah, The Sellout by Beatty last year, so I wanted to have another book by him to read, and this is supposed to be really funny and witty, which is what I liked about the previous book I read by him, so I'm excited. And I like this cover, it's quite pretty. And then I went to Lyon, like for just a day before I went back to Strasbourg, and I got The House on the Strand by Daphne du Maurier, as well as A Little Life and To the Lighthouse by Woolf. So I'm excited for all of these. And yeah, I've been wanting to read more by Daphne du Maurier, as I've mentioned before, because I read Rebecca a few years ago and I loved it so much, but I still have not read more by Daphne du Maurier. Mostly because I cannot seem to decide which edition of her books to get, every single one, because I don't like the edition of My Cousin Rachel that most people have, and I know it's stupid and that a lot of people don't care about covers, but I obviously do. So yeah, I saw this edition of The House on Strand and I was like, yes, I like this one, it's pretty, I like the spine for these, what's it called? Yeah, Virago Modern Classics. And I've seen them a little bit all over, and yeah, I'm excited to get to this. And also about A Little Life, I've been wondering if I should do a vlog reading it like most people have done, because it could be really funny, and I would just title it like One More Vlog Reading A Little Life. So tell me if you're interested in that. I'm definitely not doing it anytime soon because I don't have the book right now with me, but I am definitely interested in reading it. I don't know if I'm ready. Everyone says it's like the saddest book ever, but I typically like sad books, and it's also about a group of friends, I have heard, and I love books about groups of friends, especially like kind of 20 something people, and I've heard that's what it is. So yeah, I'm excited to get here at some point. Then I got a few books online. So the first one was Mr. Salary by Sally Rooney. I have read both of Sally Rooney's novels so far, and I love them so much, so I wanted more from her, and I have this now. And also got Once Upon a River by Dan Satterfield. I loved The 13th Tale by Dan Satterfield a few years ago, and I have been eyeing this for so long, so I finally got it. Then I also got The Hanjin Murders by Seishi Okumizo, which is a translated book, translated mystery book from Japanese, and it's translated by Louise Hill Kawai. Yeah, this is supposed to be like a classic murder mystery and has just been translated into English and made with these beautiful editions, so I'm excited to get to that. I was recommended by mytbr.co, so this website that I pay for recommendations, because I said that I loved the writing from like the 60s or something, that there was something that really, I don't know, did something for me. So she recommended this one for me, and I'm excited to get to it. I typically really like mystery books and Japanese literature, so I think this will be perfect. And I also got Monstrous by, what's it called? Marjorie M. Liu, right? Yeah, Marjorie Liu. I have heard this is an amazing graphic novel and that it's fantasy and horror. And that just sounded very good to me. I wanted to read it a few months ago, but it didn't happen. But I'm still going to at some point. Yeah, it looks really beautiful. I like the art, so I'm excited to get to this. Then, so a few months ago, I moved to Munich and I went to see the Munich bookstores. And first of all, actually, I got this edition of Cloud Atlas, which I forgot to take out, because yeah, I love Cloud Atlas, one of my favorite books of all time, and I have the UK edition, which I really like, but this one is even prettier in my opinion. I've always wanted it, and so when I saw it there, I was like, of course I need to get this, and I will be rereading this very soon, so I'm excited. And then I came back to this bookstore, which was really good. It's called the Munich Readery, if you're ever in Munich. And it's supposed to be the biggest English bookstore in Germany. And they have loads of books. Like half of the bookstore features like fiction books, and the other half has non-fiction, which is pretty unusual, I feel, for most bookstores. Like they tend to have a lot of fiction, but not that much non-fiction, so I was happy about this. But still, like, yeah, they have a lot of editions actually from the US, which again is unusual, because like in Europe we usually get the books from the UK in English, and so I was happy to see this, because usually, like, I often really like the US editions, unlike some people, and especially I really like that the paperbacks are always like so floppy, so I've been enjoying seeing all these editions. And so I came back here again and I got A Dirty Job by Christopher Moore. This is a fantasy book and I've heard it's really funny, and I tried reading like a few pages and I was really enjoying it, so this will be nice. And I got Stories of Your Life and Other Stories by Ted Chiang. I have heard many people talk about Ted Chiang and his short stories, so I will be reading this at some point, as well as his other collection that I own on audiobook. And yeah, I'm just so excited. I really liked Ken Liu's short stories last year, which was also sci-fi and fantasy, so I think this will be up my alley as well. And then I came back to this bookstore again right before it closed down for lockdown. And I asked the bookseller for books about friendship, because I saw on the website that he like gives you recommendations if you ask. So I asked him for this, and he recommended me 5 books, including these 3 that I bought. So they are Whitehead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh, White Teeth by Zadie Smith, and True Grit by Charles Portis. So the first 2 are like classics and I don't know a lot about them. I just remember that this one is set in Oxford and follows 2 friends, and yeah, it's about like their friendship, and this is like a friendship of an old man and a girl, I think he told me, and it sounded great. And I also saw I think it was like on the back or something, or maybe right inside, I opened it and the foreword was done by Donna Tartt, who is one of my favorite authors. So I was like, if she thinks it's amazing, I will trust her. But the one I'm actually the most excited for is White Teeth, because he mentioned this is about a group of friends, and that is something that I always really like, and I've been wanting to read books by Sadie Smith as well, because I've heard her writing is really good and it seems like something I would like. So we will see if I do. And I also got at the same trip Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke, because I read Pain and Nessie last year by Susanna Clarke and I loved it. It was one of my favorite books of 2020, so I wanted more by Susanna Clarke, and I've been meaning to like get this one at some point, but obviously like it's a beast, so I did not know if Susanna Clarke's writing would be for me, but now I know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. And it's also really beautiful. Like, I love the font for some reason, and the cover, it's just, yeah, it's such a big book, but it's floppy and I'm just really excited. Then we did Secret Santa with my friends, so in December, and my Secret Santa got me The Secrets We Kept by Lara Prescott, which is a book about spies. I have read a few books about spies last year and I all really enjoyed them. Like, they weren't all great, but the spy aspect made it great for me because I thought it was just so exciting. So this will be hopefully just as good. I've heard like mixed things about it, but I'm excited to try it. And it's about women who are spies, which is not something you see a lot in books, so I'm excited for that as well. Then I ordered from the US 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami, and specifically this edition that I've been dreaming about for months and months. I could not find it because it's out of print, but I finally ordered it somewhere, so from the US, and I had no idea if it would be like in a good condition, but in the end it was. There's just like a bit of a tear here, so in the box that contains them, but besides that they're in perfect condition. And yeah, I'm just really excited. I've heard amazing things about Haruki Murakami, but I still haven't read anything by him. But especially 1Q84 I've heard is some of his best work. So yeah, I'm happy to have this edition. I will be diving into this probably very soon. So yeah, and also this edition separates the book into 3 books. This book is like more than 1,000 pages. It's like 1,100 and so on. So it was really like too intimidating if you just read it like all in one go. And I know that even if you have like a long book, you don't have to read it like front to back all in one go, but I always do. And so at least with this I can maybe try to separate the book in multiple parts, and it seems easier to start and just to read. So yeah, wow, how beautiful this book is. I still can't get over it, to be honest. Yeah, congrats to Vintage for doing this. It's amazing. Then right before Christmas I went and got myself some books, because I typically don't get books from my family because they never want to buy me books. I guess it would be too hard for them to know which ones I had read, even though I have Goodreads, so like everyone could see what I have or have not read. But either way, I always buy myself books for Christmas to compensate for that. So the books I wanted were Maurice by E.M. Forster, The Road Through the Wall by Shirley Jackson, and The Trial by Franz Kafka. So the story about these books is that, so for Kafka, I have heard about because I was talking to one of my friends. She talked to me about this interview from Kafka, and she read a few lines from it, and he was basically saying that books should wreck you, and that is what writing should be and reading. And I did not agree with him at all at the time. I was like, you know, this sounds really harsh. Like, sometimes I just want to hang out and not think too much about reading, but at the same time this stayed in my mind, and now I'm really curious to read books by Kafka. So when I saw The Trial at the bookstore, I was like, yes, I want this. Then Shirley Jackson, I just want to read more by. I read We Have Always Lived in a Castle a few years ago and it was amazing. So I'm very curious what else she has written. And yeah, Forster is the same story. I read So 2 of his books now, and I really like both of them, so I wanted more. I've just really been interested in a lot of modern classics lately, so I'm excited for these 3. And I also got another classic, which is The Plumed Serpent by D.H. Lawrence. I have heard quite a bit about D.H. Lawrence and how he or she, I don't remember, they are one of these authors that people used to go to back in the time these books were published for sex scenes, and I'm just very curious how they hold up now, however. And yeah, actually this book specifically doesn't have the best ratings at all, but I'm hoping I still enjoy it. Then I actually did get one book for Christmas from one of my friends, and it is La Serena d'Ibrahim Santos by Yamen Manay. So it is a French book, fiction book, and I don't really know anything about it, but it's in this cute edition and it's kind of short. So yeah, I have no thoughts going into this. I have no idea what it is. I did try to read the synopsis and everything, but it wasn't anything that stayed with me too much. I'm curious, we'll see. And then I got one book so I can read it with one of my friends, and it's Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. We want to buddy read this because we have heard that this book is amazing, and specifically that Sarah Waters always writes books about LGBTQ plus characters, and we wanted more of that in our lives. So I'm really excited to get to this one. And yeah, just in general, I've heard this is an amazing mystery, and I've heard amazing things about Sarah Waters. So yeah, this can only be great. I love this cover, I love this book, it's fluffy, it's beautiful, just all good. Then in my residence, they started a WhatsApp group to exchange books or lend them, and I got this book from the exchange, which is Slack Harbor by Colson Whitehead. So one more book by Colson Whitehead that I have, and I read the blurb, and it's about this young boy in Manhattan who is the only black kid at this prep school, and he tries to adapt to everyone. He wants everyone to like him, you know, the basic story that you already know, but it doesn't go as well as he thinks, and he ends up having to move, and so to do all this thing again. And I don't know how it's gonna be, but I'm very interested in this. And then the last 2 books I got just a few days ago are Red Bill by Harry Kunzru, which, you know, I mostly got because of the cover and because it was signed. I had been meaning to read this, but as an audiobook, and I think that's still what I'm going to do because the audiobook is read by the author. But I have really enjoyed White Tears by this author previously. It was his previous book, and so I thought that hopefully I would enjoy this one as well. And yeah, it's just very pretty. It's red and it has beautiful end pages. Just look at this. I am really into that. I just know that this is like a literary fiction book, and yeah, it's totally a cover buy. Just look at this, it's beautiful, I like it. And I also got Vagabonds by Hao Jingfeng, which I have also read last year as an ARC, and I finally have a copy, so I'm really happy about this. And it's a beautiful one as well. Like, it's so shiny, I did not expect it, but I'm really into that. This book is set on Mars, and it follows many different characters, some that live on Mars and some that live on Earth. And Mars and Earth are trying to discuss things. They don't really agree on a lot of things. Mars is trying to be more communist, I would say, and the Earth is totally capitalist. This book has been translated from the Chinese by Ken Liu, who is also a great author that I mentioned previously. I read his short story collection, and I am planning on reading more of his books. So you can feel like his writing in this, that is really beautiful, but also Hao Jingfeng's ideas, which are fascinating. And yeah, I just highly recommend this book. It hasn't been read that much, and I think that's a shame. So if you like science fiction and slow books, I think you would really enjoy this. It was beautiful, and now it has an amazing cover, so you can buy this. And it's a signed first edition. So right here I can see the signature. But yeah, that's the last book I got. Now I'm really trying to buy less books, and I have been sticking to it at least for 2021 so far. Yeah, I only bought, so this month I have a red and red pill, which I think is good. So I'm quite proud of myself. I will give myself a pat on the back. But yeah. Anyway, these are all the books that I got. Please tell me if you have read any of them and what you thought of them, because I would love to know. Good or bad things. I am excited for anything you might tell me about these books. And yeah, just tell me also some books you have gotten recently. And yeah, that will do it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon in that video. Goodbye! Dream I know, deep up my feelings